Hey, all, Mr. Thibodeau here. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We had a great weekend. Lesson 35 is not too difficult. Should be, anyway. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimal numbers. Okay. Now, you're going to do your mental math, of course. You're going to do your problem solving. Problem solving is kind of fun, I think. And you are going to figure out how to do adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing with decimals. Now, adding decimals is easy, okay? You just make sure that all of the decimal points are in a line, okay? That your ones column is together, your tens column is together, your tenths column is together, your hundredths column is together, and you just add. You know, there's not too much to that. Subtraction is the same way. So for addition or subtraction, keep all the decimals in line, ones column together, tens column, tenths columns, and so on. Okay. Once everything is together, you can just do the math and there's no issue. Then you just drop down that decimal. Okay. You see the decimals here, so it's all in a row. Okay. Now, subtracting is the exact same. Once we start to do multiplication, we change it up. For multiplication, we do not care. And in fact, we don't want, we don't need them to be in a row. For multiplication and division, you don't need the decimals to line up. Okay. What we're going to do is we're just going to add up the places and use that at the end. So there's two decimal places here, right? The 5 and the 2 are both two decimal places, and there's one here. So that's a total of 3 places. So we do our math, we get 100, but then we move it over 1, 2, 3 to get our final answer. Now you're like, whoa, Mr. Thibodeau, but I multiplied. It should be a bigger number. 0.1 is a smaller number than both 0.25 and 0.4. And what I say to that is, keep in mind, multiplication and division, okay? When I multiply something, if I multiply it by itself, if I multiply a number, if I do 4 times 2, I get a bigger number, 8, right? If I do 4 times 1, I get a smaller number, or I get the same number, okay? So multiplying by a number greater than 1 gives you a bigger number. Multiplying by 1 gives you the number. Doing a number smaller than 1, okay, I am going to get a smaller number, okay? And remember, multiplication is just addition, right? So this equals 4 plus 4, okay? This equals just 4, okay? I have 1 4 here. This means I don't even have a full 4. I have half of a 4. I have less than a full 100% 4. So I just have, you could do 4 times a half, or you could just end up with half of 4, which is 2, okay? All right, now, so I just want to point out that when you're multiplying by a decimal, it's going to be a smaller number. When you're doing division, normally if I do 4 divided by 2, I get a smaller number. 4 divided by 2, the 2 goes into 4 2 times, right? There's 2 2's in 4. If I do 4 divided by 1, well, 1's in there 4 times. Gives me 4. Okay. If I do 4 divided by 0.5, I am going to get 8. Okay. This works inversely, okay? When I divide by 0.5, if I do 4 divided by 0.5, it's the same as doing 4 divided by 1/2. How many times does 1/2 go into 4? Well, 1 goes into 4 times. There's 2 halves to every 1, so I have a total of 8. The way I might write that is 4 divided by 1/2, which really turns into 4 over 1. Oh, sorry, my light just went off. And whenever we're dividing a fraction, we're really going to multiply by the inverse. Okay, so 4 divided by 1/2 turns into 4 times 2 over 1, which equals 8. Okay, so I want to get that out of the way. It's going to be, if you're dividing by a decimal, you're going to get a big number. If you're multiplying by a decimal, you're going to get a smaller number. Okay, now the actual math here is very, very easy, because all you do is you just count places. Okay, 2 places here, 1 place here, total of 3 places. When we're dividing, okay, when we divide and there's only one decimal, okay, we're actually going to divide by the same, we're going to deal with basically the same thing. When there's just this decimal here, it just pops up, okay? But what if the question was not 8 divided by 0.0144, but 0.8 divided by 0.0144, okay? What we'd do is we'd take that decimal and we'd use that as well, and so it wouldn't be if I was doing 0.8 divided by 0.0144, okay, I would still get, my math would still work out exactly the same, except instead of that decimal just going up 1, it goes over an extra 1, okay, because there's 1 here, 1 spot there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 here, okay? So now we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Sorry. Or 5 there. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I missing something? Oh, I'm missing a 0. There's another 0 in there. There we go. That's why. I just copied that over wrong. Okay. So I think that is it. I don't even think you have to worry about this problem in here. I don't see any. Let me go ahead and do the perimeter of this triangle for you. Okay. So I have 0.6, and then I'm just doing perimeter. So it's 0.6 times 2 and 0.4 times 2. Okay. And then we add those together. So that gives me 2 0.6s is 1.2. 2.4s is 0.8. Okay. Now I add those together, and that gives me a total of 2.0 for my perimeter. 2.4 meters. Okay, 2.0 meters. H is a little tricky. Okay. 0.06 times 0.06. Yeah, I think you should be able to do the rest of them. The practice set's a little long, so I'll make your written practice a little shorter. Let's see. Oof, man, 1 through 10 is a pain. I'll just say 16 through 26. for the written practice, okay? All right, guys, that's lesson 35. Have a good one.